Hey guys, it's Diane. As promised, I'm going to share with you how I set up my kit and my workflow when I am on a print, commercial, or video shoot and I have multiple talent to work with. So I'm not an expert at videos, but here we go. I am sharing with you how I set up my kit. So this right here is my kit for the most part. There's a few other items that I have in a different bag, but this is the main stuff. And before I jump into this, before I get started, I want to say I am setting up in a space that's probably about the average size of a space that we have often when we're working. So the first thing I do, I sanitized. First I washed with hot water and soap, then I sanitized the surface completely. Currently, I am using these mats. They are a plastic mat. They do have grooves in them, so I'm going to be switching those out, but I wash these. I submerge them and wash them in hot water, soap, and then wipe them with alcohol wipes when they're dry, and then virucidal, germicidal cleaner. So that's always the first thing I do. Then when I get on set, I'm like taking my alcohol wipes, wiping everything down when I first get on set. I also, everything that you see here has been wiped down. If it can be washed with hot water and soap, it's washed with hot water and soap. Everything is wiped down with an alcohol wipe and then the germicidal cleanser. So that's the first thing. I start with everything really, really clean. The next thing is, well, let me show you some of this stuff. So these are the alcohol wipes. I do different brands. This one's 75%, but I always have these on me, and I have been known, not kidding, I practically carry them around in my hand the whole day. I constantly have a couple of them on the counter like this, and I'm always washing everything off. The next thing that I think is really, really important is the products. Hey, and I apologize, you could be hearing my kitten in the background. He's in kitty jail at the moment because he's a young one and he's getting into a lot of trouble. So the other thing I do is I just make sure that I don't take out more than I need. So if I'm working with multiple talent, this is basic skincare that works universally on everyone. If I need something extra, I will get extra out of my bag, but I try to keep it tight. I try to keep it a small amount. I always have palettes. I use metal palettes, but I also have this. I should have gotten this out beforehand. I'm just going to show it to you in the packaging then. Also, these disposable paper palettes. They are like a wax paper palette. You can get them at Makeup Designery. They're super helpful. I'll zoom out just a little so you can see how big they are. So I use either one or the other or a combination of them together. I always have spatulas. So I have a metal spatula and a glass spatula, and those are always used for cream products. I realize that I filmed the video a couple of times, and I realized that because I have a shaky hand with the camera, I am definitely not winning any awards for cinematography. So thanks for your patience. So here I'm getting out just a couple foundations to show you. So I would have a palette that I use for concealer and foundation, and then I would have my liquid foundations. These, I always use my spatula. I take these out, put them on my clean palette that has been sanitized, disinfected when I get to set. It's done at the end of the day, but I also do it again when I get to set, just to be clear. Then the liquid, I would just squeeze onto there, whether I do it straight from this palette or whether I put the wax paper on there. And so that's how I work from that. So there is nothing here. I'm not double dipping. And I want to be really, really clear. I'm not an expert at this. I'm not more of an expert than anyone else. I've always tried to be sanitary, and I've upped my game completely during COVID. So some of the things that I'm sharing with you are things that I've always done, and some of them I've done on and off, and I am now doing them for good. So that's why I started. So there's your foundation and concealer. Those go on these palettes. Same thing with lipstick. I would put my lipstick on there also. And then when we get to eyeshadow, I'm going through this kind of fast. Sorry, it's hard for me to work with one hand. I'm just gonna admit that right now. Really hard for me to do that. So what I do when I'm working with powders, I use a Kleenex. So I know some people are doing cotton balls, and in beauty school we were taught to scrape the product with a mascara wand or a spoolie. I personally do not like to do that. I think it wrecks the product. So what I would do, here is my palette, my eyeshadow palette that I'm working from. I would take the eyeshadow palette, I would take my Kleenex, rub that across there a few times, and there you have shadow. Then this is what I would work from with my brushes. That is the thing that I would do. And so then if I don't have enough, I would just take this and fold it over so I have a clean surface, because the Kleenex is clean. So then I would turn it over and then I would do it again. And I do that for any powders that I use. With the exception for, I should say, any eyeshadow, any blush, any highlighter, anything like that, that's how I would do it. I will say that I have been using loose powders, and I've been doing, I do have both. I have pressed powder and I have loose powder. But with COVID, I have felt a lot more comfortable. Sorry, taking me a minute to get this out here. I have felt a lot more comfortable. Uh-oh. Did I go the wrong direction? Sorry, guys. Like I said, I am all right, can't get it open. I'm no cinematographer. There we go. Sorry, I just didn't have it all the way. So I am using small powders, and what I do is I open them up, I shake them out on here, or I shake them straight into a Mayo case. Sorry, of course, now I got powder on there. I have to wipe it off. I will put the powders straight into a Mayo case. So let me show you that. So here's a Mayo case. Now it comes with, I think the pods are this size and they're this size right here, but they're not triple. They don't have the 3-pan. So that's one that I ordered, and then I got a big one to try it. It also comes with a spatula in there, so you can scoop the product in and you can scoop the product out when you're on set. So what I would do with that powder, I would either put it here on the palette, or I would empty it into one of these cases. And then that is the powder for that talent. And that's how I've been doing that. And I love these cases. And I will tell you that, I mean, you can see they have a mirror in here. I'm going to show you, I love the little pod cases, but there are times, turn this around, there are times, and these are a little melty, but there are times when I'm in a hurry, when I don't have time to put everything in there, and I have just gone straight to a clean, sanitized mirror. Sorry, it's a little hot in here, so these are kind of melting. But that's the other thing I would do. And then I would stick a couple pods here, then I would stick an eyeliner or a lip liner, and that's how I would do that. So if you noticed in the first Mayo case, you see this one with the 3-pan. So for that one, what I do, if I'm working on a woman, female talent, I would put lip balm, lipstick, and lip gloss in there. So I have it all in one case. And again, I love these little cases, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of clumsy. So sometimes I just have put it on the mirror, and that's what I do, and it's worked out great. I just clean and sanitize the mirror. I make sure it doesn't touch anything else, and it works out great. So that's what I do with all those things. I also carry multiples of black eyeliners and brown eyeliners so that I don't always have to sharpen my pencils right away. And I carry multiple sharpeners as well. So the next thing I want to share with you is some of the stuff that I carry here. So this is where my brushes are. My brushes are in this container. I heard about this through Fiona Styles, but these are cleaned, sanitized. My hands were washed before I started this, and this has all been cleaned and sanitized, and it's got a cover, so I don't worry about somebody sneezing or coughing or breathing on it or anything. It's clean and it stays there. The other way that I carry my brushes are in these amazing sleeves. And this is something I did when I had a spa. And so all the brushes that you see in here have been washed with hot water and soap, a brush soap of some kind. Then when they're dried, I wipe them with an alcohol wipe, and you know, I have actually sprayed them with this occasionally. It really dries out the brush. I don't wholly and completely recommend it, but this is how I carry my brushes now. And if I only have one talent, I just open this up, and sometimes I'll work from that, or I work from this, and I always make sure I re-wash my hands. I make sure everything is clean when I take a brush out of here and put it in here. And so that's kind of the flow of how I'm doing everything. And so I always make sure, I'm seeing a little shadow right here, but I always make sure at the end of the day, I'm wiping everything down. And I also wipe as I go. So if, as you saw, there was powder on here, I'm going to wipe as I go along. I think it's really, really important. And I just want to say this, and this is no disrespect to anyone, but if you are not doing this kind of procedure, if you're not keeping everything organized and clean, I'm going to say it this way. There's no point in trying to do this if you pick up your brushes, you use a brush, and then you just toss it down, or you pick up your foundation and you toss it down and you're super messy. I still see people doing that. I still see people sharing their messy kit, and I don't really understand why. A lot of people say that, well, that's just how I think, that's how my mind works. I'm an artist. So I think that's great if you're an artist. We're all artists, and we've had to learn to create the habits that are going to benefit the public the most. So if you are still doing that, I know that what I'm showing you right now, how this kit is laid out, I know that you can do that. I know you can do that. Now, normally when I'm working, I would never lay this on here. I would keep it on there. So, and if I did, I'm going back over these things with a 70% alcohol wipe. Again, anything that I can wash in hot soap and water, I will, but everything gets alcohol wiped, and then a lot of things are going to get the germicidal cleanser. So that's kind of how I set things up. I don't think there's a need to take every single thing out of your kit, but if I needed a different eyeshadow, all I have to do is pull another eyeshadow out. When I'm done using the eyeshadow, I close it and I wipe it down with alcohol wipes. And so that's, you know, these have 8 eyeshadows. That's good for one person. If I need another one, I pull it out, but I always wipe it down as I go. And I think that's really, really important. I think we have to be really careful about doing that these days. So I hope this video helped you. I'm breaking it up into a couple videos because this is 13 minutes long. I don't want to bore you. Thanks for being patient with my crazy camera work, and I will see you on the next one.